Welcome to Kaitlyn's kitchen. No way. So corny. All right. Welcome to Kaitlyn's kitchen, where I'm going to show you how to make a bunch of different recipes, step by step. Let's go. Today we're going to make Corona battered onion rings with a lime dipping sauce. It's simple, just have the right ingredients and you're all set. In order to make this recipe, the ingredients you'll need is salt, 1 Corona, vegetable oil, sour cream and a lime, some baking powder, flour, red pepper flakes, an onion, and 1 egg. The first most important thing to do is to get everything in front of you. You measure out 1 cup of flour. Next you'll need 1 tablespoon of salt to give it the flavor that the batter will hold. We need 1 teaspoon baking powder. Here we are. And now you want to mix up the dry ingredients together so it's all evenly blended. Awesome. After it looks evenly blended, you're going to take your Corona, pop it open, which is always great. Then you're going to find your 1 cup measurement. So you pour the beer into it for 1 cup. There we are. I'm not a bartender, so the foam just seems to stay. And I'm going to pour the beer into the batter. And I'm going to mix it. You start with 1 cup because you don't want it too soupy. Because once it's too soupy, you're adding dry ingredients and that will just become very big project / headache. If it's just too dry, you can continue adding Corona and nothing's wrong with more beer in any occasion. You want like a pancake batter consistency, so I'm going to add a tiny bit more just by eyeing it, little at a time. And it still looks a little bit too thick. You want the onion ring to go in and have it dripping off. So just a little more Corona. Start slow with mixing it because you don't want it everywhere. That looks just about right. Now before I cut into the onion, I'm going to pour the oil into the pan so it starts to heat up at a slow pace. So pour the oil into the pan, bring it up about 1 inch. You never want to heat oil fast. There's no need to rush oil. That's one thing to keep in mind. This is a large bottle and you probably assume you don't need a big one just like this to make onion rings, but in actuality you do. So this one is actually 2 quarts. So 2 quarts oil or more. So I'm going to put the stove to a medium heat. You don't have to blast the heat. Oil likes to come up slowly to a high temperature. While that's coming up, I'm going to show you how to cut the onion. First you have 2 sides of the onion. The top and the root. You're going to cut along that way. Don't cut through the top and the root. You're going to cut the other way. So first I'm going to take off the top. So first I'm going to peel off all the excess onion that's not tasty, aka the skin. If you take off the first layer, it's fine. Better safe than sorry. So now you're going to grip the onion at a really good grip. Make sure your fingers are far away from where the knife is. If you want to make crispy rings, you want to go about here. If you want a chewy one, kind of like a gourmet one, you can go a little bit thicker. So I'm going to go a little thicker because I like a chewy ring, knowing that I'm eating actually an onion ring and not just batter. So I'm going to do this a couple times. Be careful with the knife. Make it the incision, and now once it's in and not near your tips of your fingers, you can keep going. There we go. Now that actually is a lot of onion rings, and you just cut 3 rows in the onion. Both the rings just like this.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Sometimes they'll serve this at a restaurant, but other than that, basically 1/4 of an onion does the trick at some restaurants. These are all the rings that we'll use to batter them up. And there you have it. Now I'm going to check on the oil. I can see it's reacting to the heat at a slow pace, which is great. You can see ripples in the oil and it's getting hot. You can never test it out with your finger. You just gotta eye it like this. And when you think it's at a hot point, you can test it with the batter itself. So you have to drop a little piece of batter in. And once it reacts the correct way, it will rise up bubbling. Once you test out the oil temperature and you can see that it's not quite there yet, you can start to higher it up, because you do want it high, but you just don't want to initially start with the heat on high, because that's just not, one, safe, and two, it's just not safe. That's honestly it. So when it comes to the dipping sauce, we start with sour cream. 1 cup of sour cream. Where the hell did that spoon go? Oh, it's in the batter. Your editing skills better be on point. So while that oil's heating up, we're going to start with the dipping sauce. So I use about 1 cup of sour cream. This is the base of the dipping sauce, so basically what you see is what will be in the bowl for everyone to use as a dip. If that's enough to you, great. If not, double the recipe on the spot. You have the sour cream in the bowl, and then you're going to get a lime, give it a little roll to release juices inside. There we go. And cut it. Nice. Now you're going to squeeze the juice on top of the sour cream. Just the juice of 1 lime. So if this lime is nice, it's going to give you a really good flavor. There we go. This one has a lot of juice in there. I'm not complaining. Here we go. And now we're going to add 1 teaspoon of red pepper flakes. Who doesn't like that random taste of heat in a recipe, huh? That's what I'm talking about. Now, salt and pepper to taste just means start out with a little bit of salt, a tiny bit of pepper. So now you're going to give it a nice stir. Also, side note, when you go to serve this, no one will ever have any idea that this has lime in it. It just doesn't, it's not green. So if you wanted to serve it at a party, maybe you could put like a lime on the side, just like this, or even like the scraps that you used and squeezed out. They actually do have like a nice look to them if you lay them on the side of a platter. This is a crafty yet delicious recipe. So now I'm going to add the egg to the batter, because we are about to start dipping. There we go. Quick tip, when it comes to cracking an egg, don't use the corner of the table. It pushes shells inside. So use the surface of the table, just like so, and then crack it in, where you'll have absolutely no shells inside the bowl because no shells are pushed in. There we go. So now you're going to blend it in. Now the consistency is just about there. There we go. This is the consistency you want for the beer battered onion rings. Perfect. So now you have your lime dipping sauce, which is good to go. What you want to do is have a spoon on the side to taste it for yourself. So here I go. I'm imagining a nice warm onion ring dipping into that delicious. That's pretty good. Now if it's not where you want it to be, add a little pepper, but salt enhances the flavor. Pepper changes it, and always remember that. Now we're going to test out the oil. So I'm going to drop a piece of batter in. It is reacting. It is so ready for these onion rings. Your onions are cut, your batter's right here. They're going to go right into the hot oil and then right onto this resting dish, which I created, which is just paper towel on top of a sheet pan. It will soak up the oil. That's not as tasty as the onion ring. So here we go. 1 onion ring. I'm going to dip it in. One side, flip it to the other. Hold it up for a second. But that stuff that's dripping is good stuff. So I'm going to lay it in as quick as I can and drop it away. The reason why I drop it that way is so the oil goes that way. I do not want the oil on me. I am in no rush to be. Never mind. Alright, so now the onion ring is floating in the oil. You know the heat's at the correct temperature. It's reacting well. And you're going to give it 2 minutes on one side. While that's going, I'm going to drop another ring. Right in. And in my mind, I know I'm going to go clockwise. So that I know which one was in first and which one will come out first.
So here we go. No matter the size, the thickness is the same. So I'll take about 2 minutes on one side and 2 minutes on the other. There we go.
They're moving on me, but it's okay. By the color of the onion ring, you'll know when it's finished. So we'll give it a little chance to get golden brown. Now it's about time to flip the first one. Now here I have tongs, and I do apologize because I did not say anything about tongs. And now here you are in your kitchen wondering, well, what the hell? Do I flip them with my fingers? Oh no, this chick wants to throw in tongs at the end. So I apologize for that. Make sure you have your tongs. So you're gonna flip the first one, golden brown, and let it do its thing on the other side. I prefer it darker, so I'm gonna give them another 3 or 4 minutes. Just judgment the whole time you're cooking. You need basically foundation. You have the recipe, you have the ingredients, you're going for it. Now what do you like? Do you like darker onion rings? Do you like nice and light? Whatever you like, you pull at the time that you decide. But the key is 2 minutes on each side will cook the onion through. So anything less, you'll be chewing on a raw onion ring. So 2 minutes on each side or longer. Here we go. Alrighty, let's check. Splitting through, but that's okay. The deliciousness will still be there all around. So I'm going to give it a little time to drip off, and then I'm going to transfer it over to the paper towel and let the paper towel do the trick. Away from you. Let it drip. When you have a chance, this is my chance, away from you. Just cook, and I'll show you how to plate these at some sort of party. Or even if it's at your house and you're alone, it's always nice to know that you care about yourself and you want to make it look good for yourself, and that's fine. That's exactly what I do. All over. Let them still do their thing. Get myself some new paper towel. There you have it. Corona battered onion rings. And we're gonna give it a try. Amazing. No double dipping. Dang. Get your own bowl. Make sure you get your own personal bowl. Thank you for joining me on Kaitlyn's Kitchen. Like, comment, subscribe. If you want any adjustments, let me know. Maybe we'll come out with a new video on what your take is and what you'd rather see. I really appreciate you being here today. Cheers. Quick tip, when it comes to the hot oil, once you're done, take the pan, slide it towards the back, and give it some time to cool down. Once the oil is at a cool temperature all over again, put it right back in the container that you got it in. If you wanted to use it again, just for another dish, since this one isn't really burnt, strain it. Strain out the oil so it grabs all the little pieces of food and put it right back in to the container so you can use it again. Oil can be used about 3 or 4 times. If you're burning something and you can tell it's contaminated, then let it cool, bottle it up, and throw it away. Don't put oil into the sink, please. It's not right. Your gut feels that and you know that deep down, but sometimes our laziness hopes that it'll kind of just, go and blend. But it won't. It just won't. Be smart.